Hey guys, and welcome to this video. How are you all doing? How has the week been? I am not going to talk about what I initially was going to make a video about today, because the energies basically are calling for something different. And I will say over the last 2 hours for me, I've been feeling the collective energies and the energies of the earth, the energies of the different, the elementals, the crystal realm, the human collective, like all of these, like really, really strongly. And it feels like everything is sort of uneven. It feels like as if, if you're trying to walk on a straight line and you can't because you're just super dizzy. It's like the energy feels like as if you're dizzy. That's maybe the best way I can describe it. It feels like pressure, and it feels like it has to equal out. So as I was feeling into this, I was tuning in and I was sitting with the guidance, and what I was shown was that there energetically things are very uneven on the earth now, and it's almost like this feeling that it has to explode. And as I was shown this, then of course I remember that there has been earthquakes and volcanoes erupting the last days, and I really can see that having to do with this shift. Like it's like it has to shake into becoming into, or coming into some sort of like a central or centered point. It has to even out a bit. And what I was shown is that the process we are moving into now, and I'm always speaking from the energetics, is starting to even out things. Now, how that is going to look in the physical, I have not been shown at the moment. And they tend to not show me specifics in that regards, both because the timelines are shifting very often and it's not helpful, and that's one of the really main points that I was shown today. And I have been speaking on this a bit before, but really now with these energies and what we're going into, it's really important. So to stay centered and to not go into trying to predict everything, because it's not helpful. So we can feel more safe if we know what's going to happen, and we can we can prepare, we sort of know, we feel like we have some sort of control over it. Things are shifting very quickly, energy is moving, and humans are making choices, and so that, and more people are awakening, which means that more and more people are making conscious choices, which makes the energies shifting more. Because when we change perspectives, when we change how we direct our energy, we are affecting everything. And whenever we go into either attaching to a story of the past, we're going into like really being in that of the past, or thinking about things, or regretting things, or we're just sort of feeling like that stuckness with the past, or we're going into the future trying to predict, trying to prepare, trying to figure out and check like every single thing there's possible to check, or what might be happening, or how it may or may not look. We are directing our energy out of the present moment, and that's so important. So what I showed me was that the energy on the earth both because the grid is, I've been talking about this in Australia specifically before, with the grid shifting. What I saw now is that the grid is starting to shift more in different, or all over the world. It's almost like there's something that has shifted in Australia, initiating more changes in different places over the earth, because it's like everything has to keep up now. It's almost like, you know, if you have these scales and it's like now it's too much like this, so something has to just put it into balance again. And because what I was told then, I'm just tuning in and and hearing, because they're explaining. What is really, really important is to stay centered and stay focused on you. And why is that? Because what I said was that, like, sharing this message might bring people into like what's going on, what is this, what's going to happen, should I do something, and start to go into the mind and trying to figure out, trying to predict. And it's a very natural thing to do, because it's how we have been programmed to find solutions. But that's not the way we're going to do it going forward. It doesn't mean that we're not going to pay attention to what is happening, but it means that we're doing it from another energy, from another state. It means that instead of trying to control the external in order to calm the internal, or to make sure that we will feel good internally days, months, years ahead, we are instead having the attention working on the internal, working on our state, the energy we are, you know, beaming out. And from that present state, we are paying attention to what's happening, and we're taking what's in front of us at in every moment. Because that's how we change, that's how we shift. And when we shift, the external is shifting as well. So what I said is that this pressure that I could feel so strongly in the whole collective and the energy of the earth, that needs to sort of even out. It's the same thing going on internally. A lot of people are feeling a lot of pressure. And this pressure, because it's so uncomfortable feeling this pressure, we don't want it. It's like we're going into that same program again, trying to fix it or trying to figure out what's going on. They keep talking, I'm sorry, I'm just listening. Yeah, it's that pressure from more of you. It's the pressure from inside that a lot of people are feeling into, because there's more and more coming online within us. We're embodying more of our own light. We are raising our frequency, and we are remembering more. We are shifting ways of being, ways of doing. And as this is happening, and we feel this pressure that it told me or showed me that many are feeling now, it's about being authentic. It's about the pressure of feeling suppression. First and foremost, from yourself. Look at your life. Look at the way you talk to yourself. Look at the way you're going about your days. When are you suppressing yourself? Not in a reaction to others type of way. I'm not talking about not reacting, or that you should react, to others and just like burst out. I'm talking about when you are holding yourself back, in a way that is not authentic? When are you holding yourself back because of a program? What are you telling yourself is the reason why you have to hold yourself back from speaking your truth, from being who you really are, from sharing what you want to share, from feeling joy with what you feel joy with, from just being true to you, basically. The pressure will increase until you stop suppressing yourself. It's the authenticity that is pressuring from the inside, is what I was shown. And all these choice points, I've been mentioning before that there are choice points coming. And there are already, and there will be more. As these choice points are coming, more and more pressure from the inside will be felt in order to make an authentic choice, to make the choice that is true to you. Because there's so many programs. There will be, they mentioned like misunderstandings, for example, is a huge thing for humans. There's, you know, it can go really out of proportions when there's a misunderstanding. And what I said is that it's simply about different perspectives. And it's not at all what the human can make out of a misunderstanding. So the totality around how the situation can get from misunderstandings really shows the programs at play and the emotions and stories that the program can continue anchoring into. And it's again about the attachment to those. And we keep playing it out. And so as we're making those choices, it's so important to come back to ourselves. And we will increasingly feel more and more uncomfortable, more and more pressure within, if we are not honoring ourselves. If we are not being our truth and speaking our truth. If we are, for example, coming from or acting out on a need of approval from others rather than our own truth, when we are, if we're not acting or being in alignment with our own truth, our own authenticity, our own integrity, which is a huge thing now, we are abandoning ourselves. So if you abandon yourself in order to receive approval from someone, that situation, for example, will increasingly be more and more challenging for you. What happens then is that we need to look at the programs, we need to look at emotions that makes us do that. So if I abandon myself in order to have approval from a friend or a family member or whoever, it will be more and more difficult for me to do that. And when so many energetically open people have, for example, had the experience of being an emotional buffer, sort of for the family or between friends, because it's this feeling of soaking up others' emotions or always trying to create harmony. And when this is done without honoring your sovereignty and your truth, and if you do it in order for just having the harmony so that people will like you, it's actually coming from a manipulative, unconsciously often, but still it's manipulative because you don't really do it because you want or because it's in alignment for you. I hope you can follow me now. So if we're taking action and people pleasing, for example, in order to get approval, the focus is externally. So we are still looking at or thinking of how others, like what I may want, what I may like, how does this person want me to be or to look like or to talk or whatever. The focus is externally, and it takes away the focus on feeling and getting to know it ourselves and to know what is right for me, what is my truth, and being and acting accordingly to that. So the more we have focus on the external, we are feeding very often, like for example in this example with the approval, they're feeding a program of being disempowered, of being, for example, a victim, of being sensitive, because I don't want to do this, it's just who I am, it's just, all those things we might tell ourselves. It will create more and more pressure on the inside. It will feel like you're about to explode. If you have that feeling within you, there's a good chance it has to do with your authenticity, with your true self, or your actions or your words, your thoughts, your behaviors, your being, or the way you choose to be is not lining up with your authenticity. And so there will be almost like a boiling point where we just have to be ourselves, and it's the same collectively. So the earth is sort of starting the process of evening out the energies, and the collective as well is on this point, the individuals in the collective of needing to do something with this pressure inside. If we bring our focus back internally, we can come into sovereignty, an empowered state, and we can be authentic. Instead of holding on to those stories, instead of holding on to those old ways of being that we no longer are, no matter what other people thinks. It's, how can I say this? Let me just tune in. Yeah, so it's they're showing me it also has to do with the whole, like that we're more in our bodies. There's more, we have embodied more light. We are holding more of who we are, and we continue to do so increasingly. Now, as that happens, we are also more attuned to the earth because we can feel the energy of the earth much more than we have, and we will continue to do so. The animals, the plants, crystals, the nature, everything. And so the more we come in, it's almost like the more we are attuning to that, we also need to come, like that's another aspect of the same thing, that we need to come into that center point ourselves. And everything, both what's going on collectively, what's going on in the earth, and what's going on in us individually is about coming to a center point. It's about balancing out. It's about finding that centeredness, about finding your calmness. And to have that feeling, create as much as you can, no matter where you are in the world, no matter how it looks like around you, create in the way you can the sense of freedom. Whether that's, turning on music and just dance around in your home, or whether it is just, having a canvas and just having fun, with the painting, like some sort of creativity, whether it's playing, whether it's, going out in the nature, if it's just having fun with friends, whatever you can do that you really like, that really gives you that feeling of joy and of freedom. Create that, because what's also happening, the more narratives there will be, the more intense things are, the more we go into this whole, we go into the distraction, we go out from ourselves, and we lose track of where we are, and we get more and more disempowered, uncentered, and the focus is on the external, and our energy is feeding the external, instead of creating as much as we can that state within, and be in that, because then that's also the frequency we are emitting. And so being in joy, feeling this feeling of freedom, feeling the feeling of just being you, of freely being you, of just expressing who you are, of having fun, of just, have those feelings in the body, embody it more and more and more. That's going to be very helpful, because it's all about coming back to that center point. To be anchored within ourselves instead of the instability, because when we're focusing outside on what's going on, we are putting our focus on instability. But to handle the instability in the external the best way possible at each moment, we need to come from that centered, stable point within us and come back to that again and again and again and again. I think I will probably stop there. I'm looking at my notes. There is so much information coming in constantly now. Yeah, but I think this is it for this video. Again, bringing our focus back to us. Being in integrity. And just looking at, when you feel you can't be it, look at the programs. Start just clearing the programs, continue clearing the belief systems, the emotions that are holding ourselves back, so that we can really step into who we are and have compassion for others who are navigating the exact same world, all the inner stuff as well, and into becoming who they are. People around us are going to change as we are changing. So the more we can actually open up and not judge ourselves for changing, not judge others for changing, and let them have their perspective. It's the important thing is to come into that centered point, and from an open place of respecting others' sovereignty, respecting others' opinions, respecting and honoring others, having the courage and the state within to step out just in the way you want, in integrity with you, and making the choices from that heart, from the heart center, from that point within you, rather than as a reaction, or like a reaction to the external, or as just a response or a programmed way of doing. So just having the awareness on these things and remember to come back, because that's what will shift everything. Now with these energies in the situation, find your tools that you probably have a lot of at this point, and change them out if you need to. For me, just like this last couple of weeks with how things have been, it's moving the body, drinking plenty of water, being in nature, just grounding, just dancing around at home, resting when that's needed. Just like these tools of just bringing yourself back to it. Breath work, whatever the thing is that you feel works for you, use it. I hope this is helpful for you guys. I hope it wasn't too much all over the place, because it's just continuous stream now, so it's yeah, I hope it was articulated in a way that can make sense for you. If not, please ask in the comments. I'm grateful if you share this. I love reading your comments always. I hope you're doing well out there in the world. Stay true to you and honor you. Bye bye. I'll see you in the next video.